This is a quick start on Cloudflare Workers if you want to run JavaScript within them. It's going to be a very simple tutorial. In our last video, we covered this slide set where we talked a little bit about what Cloudflare Workers are. And now we're going to be doing a very quick and practical guide as to how you actually do the implementation. The only thing that you're going to be needing is a Cloudflare account that's already set up and a GitHub account that's already set up. So we're going to create a repository together, so we go through the entire flow together. So let's create a repository first. I'm going to set it to private. I'm going to add the git ignore for node and create the repository. Once I do that, all I have to do is click the SSH link. I'm going to open up a terminal on my computer, and I'm going to use this tutorials directory that I already have set up. So I'm just going to do a git clone, and then we're going to cd into it. If we do an ll or ls, we see that there's nothing inside of it right now. So I could do an npm init. And what I've done with the npm init is all I've added is a JSON package. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a dependency install. This is going to be a dev dependency for something named Wrangler, which is basically one of the tool sets from Cloudflare. And again, if we do an ls, now we have our node modules and the package.json. We are going to add a source directory, and we're going to add a file called index.js inside of it. And we are going to add one more file called wrangler.jsonc, which is going to be the JSON configuration file for everything to do with the Cloudflare workers. Then I'm going to open this up in VS Code, and you'll see that we have exactly the same structure that we just created on the command line right now. An empty index file. We have an empty package.json, except for the dependency we already added. And then we have an empty Wrangler file as well. So let's go through these one at a time. In the scripts, we're going to need two scripts. We're going to need dev for Wrangler dev, and then we're going to need deploy for Wrangler deploy. This is the one that's going to run whenever we push to our main branch or whatever branches that we set up. And this is the one that we're going to be using locally. Let's move on to the Wrangler configuration. All you're going to need to do is to paste these four configuration items. They're basically the minimum configuration that you need. You see that with my GitHub Copilot right now, it's giving me a suggestion. So I'm going to paste that. You want to name this whatever you name the project on Cloudflare Workers itself. It doesn't have to match your GitHub repository, although you can do that as well. So we're just going to do that to keep it simple. And again, we specify the entry point. So our entry point is going to be index.js. And then we just specify the version as well. And if we want it to work in dev mode as well. Let's move on to the index file. So the index file is pretty simple. It's just going to be a singular export. We're going to be using the export default object basically. So this is going to be a singular object, and Cloudflare is going to pick that up. And then this is where we actually have to specifically name it async fetch. This is what Cloudflare is looking for. And then this function is always going to have a request parameter, an environment parameter, and a context parameter. We can look at this on Cloudflare just to confirm this. So if I do a Google search for that, and you see that if I'm here within the Cloudflare workers, we have exactly this setup. So we have the export default, and then the fetch function, and then what it's looking for is that we return a new response object in this manner. So let's do a super simple test. All we have to do right now is write new response, hello world, and we wouldn't even need to specify the headers in this case. So let's just say we're going to respond like this. So remember, we can run this locally. All we have to do now is run npm run dev. And you can see that it's running a Wrangler simulation for what it would be like on the actual environment. I can open this on localhost. And if I open it up on the browser, you see that there's our hello world message. I could instead open up a new tab as well. I could do curl, and I could run the exact same thing. And you see there it is. We have the hello world as the initial thing. So suppose instead of this, we actually want to return some JSON. What we could do instead is we could do new response.json hello world. And since it auto reloads, as you can see from right here, all I have to do is rerun this, and there it is. We get the updated code right away. So suppose we wanted to build like a very simple API. We can do that in a very simple manner. All we have to do is, let's pick up the URL. So using the request object, we could just pick up the request.url like that. And then we could do like a switch statement, for example. In this example, I'm just going to paste over some code since the purpose of this tutorial is more on the deployment. So let's paste that and I'll show you what it looks like. So in this case, we have the single fetch function. You see there's nothing else beyond that. We have a single get endpoint right here, where after we parse the incoming URL, we look at both the method and the path name. And if it's the root path name, we would return that the API is running. In the case when we get the users, for example, we would return some fake users. We would have a status one that returns a timestamp. And then we would have a post one as well that we're going to add just to simulate what a post endpoint would also look like as well. In this case, beyond the method for post and the path name of users, we're also going to be looking for a body that comes in. And then the body is not really going to be doing anything in this case. We're just going to be returning it back. So again, just by saving this and going back to the terminal, you can see that it auto reloads and it does that. So let's do this side by side, endpoint at a time. So let's look at the data that comes back now for the different endpoints. So I'm going to do curl, but in this case, we're going to add a silent flag since we don't want to get any stats about the request and response time. But then what we want to do is we want to pipe this and then we want to format it nicely. So there you see we have the root URL. I can do the users one, and there are the users. We can do the status one, and there is the timestamp. And then we can do the post one now. So say we do this post one right here. And in the post one, you see all we had to do as well is add an X flag and add the method of post. We had to append the content type since we're passing in some JSON. And then we pass in the body in this way. And then we pipe it as well. And there it is. It just says the user was created. And then it specifies the user that we passed in as input. So that's it. The code is super simple for deployment. All that you're doing is really providing these instructions for like the remote instance in addition to this deploy script. And then everything else is ready to go. So the question is, how do we deploy now? So in this case, what we're going to do in the first case is we're just going to push everything to GitHub. We do a git add, git commit, and git push. And then if we go back to GitHub and do a refresh, you see that all the source code is right there. I always recommend you always start doing it in this way for the first time, since you will get adjusted to dealing with the Cloudflare dashboard as well. So what we do is we use the search, and we search for workers and pages, and then we're going to create an application. We're going to say continue with GitHub, and then we're going to select the application that we just created. So in our case, it's this one, Cloudflare Workers JavaScript Quick. And then you see that it takes the same project name. This is the one that has to match the configuration that you set in the Wrangler configuration. So whatever you set in the name here should match what you set here. In terms of build command, what we actually need is we need npm install. And the reason we need npm install is because when we have the deploy command, it assumes that Wrangler is already installed. And we get Wrangler basically as a dev dependency. So we want to make sure the dependencies are installed during the build process. And by doing npm install here, rather than using the npx Wrangler, what we could do is just say npm run deploy, which again is the command that we have right here using the local Wrangler instance that we have. A couple more notes on the settings right here. When it says build for non-production environments, this is something useful to have if you work in a multi-branch environment. So if you have something beyond the main branch as well, like your production, staging, and featured branches, this will allow you to test all the individual instances separately and still maintain the production on its own. We can also add environment variables and other things, but for now we're just going to deploy. And since all of our code is already on the GitHub repository, you can see that it's going to do a build right away. We don't have to do anything ourselves. We can see that the build started. It's installing the dependencies. And then you can see it has completed everything. The build has been completed. You can see that if we go back to build right here, we have a successful build. What we're going to do next now is going to click here on deployments, and we're going to see that the current build that we have is actually our live deployment. So when I click visit right here, it's going to open up a new tab for me, and it's given me a URL for this worker. So the URL has a very specific format. It has my account name, which is Lucy Circle for me, and then it has worker devs at the end, and then everything before that is basically your project name for this specific worker. In our case, it was Cloudflare Workers JavaScript Quick. So what we could do with this URL is we could run the exact same commands that we ran right here, these ones right here, except we could do it on the remote one. So let's try that out. So we run the root one first, and there's the data. We run the users next, and they are the users. We run status. There's the timestamp. And there we run the final one, which is the post one. And there we see the final response for the for. That is it. It's really that simple. Now, the benefit in doing this is that we really didn't have to do any infrastructure setup. All of your attention can now move on to the way that you structure this code, basically. And just before I end this video, I'm going to show you what a kind of better organized, more completed example looks like. So you can see here I am in a very similar project structure. You can see that if I open this one up, it actually has a different name since it's a different project that I set up ahead of time. In addition to the 4 properties, this one has added some logging and observability, which I'll cover in another video. The package.json is basically exactly the same. We just have the one dependency, and then we have the 2 scripts. Where it differs a little bit is that we have a bit of a cleaner structure within the source files. So the entry point, if you look at it, it's super simple. It's just an export default object with the fetch function, the same parameters. What we're doing basically is that we're taking the URL and that we're parsing it to get the object structure for it. And then since we have a set of routes, we've defined all the routes with this array object structure, where we specify the method, the path name, and each handler is actually a function that we define in separate files. So by doing this, we can just kind of iterate through them through this find function. And then if it finds it, we would execute that handler. And if not, we would handle the not found with a custom not found that we created as well. And again, each of these is super simple. All you're doing in this case is just returning JSON. And again, for the rest of these, it's exactly the same implementation. We look at the root. We look at the health, which has the timestamp. We have a hello in this case. And then we have a post as well. So that covers everything in the introductory set of videos that you might want to know about relating to Cloudflare Workers. I guess the last thing that I'll go over is what the dashboard looks like a little bit once you're deployed. You can see that there's quite a bit of information that's useful here. So you can see the number of requests that have come in and where the request comes from. You get a little bit of metrics. Again, this will be more useful as you gather up the traffic. For all of the deployments, you'll be able to see the active deployment on the main branch, and you'll be able to see all the deployments with each of the branches. And then observability will be on if you turn on logging. So anytime you do console logs, they will basically arrive here. You can set up custom domains and preview domains as well. And then the settings is basically everything that we set up at the beginning. You can also add environment variables and secrets. You can add triggers and other stuff. And all of these are topics we'll cover in subsequent videos.